One of the most anticipated features that people wanted in Need for Speed series was the cockpit view, and actually, matter of fact, they want that in loads of racing games, and loads of racing games are actually lacking that feature. But here in Need for Speed Payback, we have got the cockpit view feature. Now what we're going to do, we're actually going to look at a series of cars to see what it looks like and if they do match up to the real thing in real life. So anyways, before we get into that, if you are brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and turn that bell notification, and also if you do enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it a lot. If I can remember correctly, the only two games that did have cockpit view was Need for Speed Shift 1 and Need for Speed Shift 2. They were tracked based games, but they were really good. The crash cam was absolutely awesome, and it's such a shame that they didn't actually bring this into any other Need for Speed series. So the cars we're going to be looking at today with the cockpit view are different type of cars. We've got a race build, we've got a drift build, and we've also got a drag build. And the race build is a Pagani, the drift build is the Mazda RX-7, the drag build is the Nissan GTR. So first up, we have got Natalia Nova's Pagani, and we have fully hyped this up to level 399. And if you haven't got this yet, you can actually make it yourself because it's an absolute beast and the handling is absolutely awesome. But anyways, what we want to see is, does it look exactly the same as the real thing in the game? The answer to your question is yes. As you see right now, we're in cockpit view, and there's so much little detail they've actually put into this. And you obviously do think to yourself, why have they put this much detail into the cockpit view if you actually can't see it or even use it? But then again, it does actually look really smart. You can actually see the carbon fiber detail. The only thing that doesn't change is the speedo, but then again, it doesn't really matter because that is just a tiny little feature. You're probably thinking, how is the handling? How much different is it from actually using it from third person? There isn't no different at all. It is still easy to control. The only difference is you don't have much to see outside and all the surroundings around you, but it doesn't really matter. I would rather lack that feature just to have the cockpit feature in the game. Probably one of the best abandoned cars we've had on Need for Speed Payback, the Mazda RX-7. Now this is the drift spec and it is level 399. And now if you actually haven't tried this out yourself, it should definitely be your go-to car for drift races. When I first got into cockpit view of the Mazda RX-7, I was actually really shocked with how much detail they've actually put into this, from the badge on the steering wheel to the dashboard to the little hazard light button. With this being a drift spec, it does handle a lot different, considering all it wants to do is just drift around the corners, and it is definitely something you've got to get used to if you actually do try this cockpit view out for yourself. But it is still fun to drive and definitely an experience that you need to try. Once again, the level of detail of actually being in this cockpit view of the Mazda RX-7 makes me think that they was actually suggesting of actually using the cockpit view, but they must have pulled out at the last minute. The Nissan GTR, I've always been a massive fan of this simply because it sounds amazing and it looks absolutely gorgeous. This is definitely my dream car. Now we're actually trying a drag spec to see how it handles and just to see what it is like once it pops a wheelie. Once again, the level of detail of this Nissan GTR in the cockpit view is absolutely stunning. We have actually got the leather interior with the GTR logo on the steering wheel, and we've also got our smart hub. The only thing we can't see is that Bose sound system, but nevertheless, they've actually got it spot on. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is what it looks like with cockpit view in Need for Speed Payback. Hopefully on the next series of Need for Speed they might actually add the cockpit view within that game, but I definitely suggest they do because it will keep the game more entertaining later on within the future. As always, I love to know your opinion, so let me know in the comment section below what you think about the cockpit view, and also do you think they should add it in the next series of Need for Speed. So anyways, if you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you are brand new, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in my next video.